We're holding in Ois Chof Aleph. Last week we ended up with the Maral that said that violating the shevuos is Yehorg Ve'al Yavor, that even if the Goyim come and try to force the Jews to violate the shevuos and say, go up to Eretz Yisroel and be oile kachoimo or oile bachoimo, or we'll kill you, they have to allow themselves to be killed rather than do it. Now later on, in Vayol Moshe, it says that the Maral may not mean that the Goyim actually forcing the Jews to be oile kachoimo, because that's a strange thing for the Goyim to do, but rather it would also mean that if the Goyim persecute the Jews and the only way they would have to escape is to be oile to Eretz Yisroel kachoimo, it would still be Yehorg Ve'al Yavor. Same idea. Anything that's Yehorg Ve'al Yavor is Yehorg Ve'al Yavor if you do it to save your life or if you do it in order to avoid getting killed. However, we don't have to worry because it's impossible that that should happen. Turn to, if you have the Vayol Moshe, Ois Kuf Yud Aleph, in the first mimer. And you'll see over there that he brings from the Ramban in Vayishlach on the Posik V'hamachene Hanishor Lefleito that Hashem gives a guarantee to the Jews that no matter who persecutes them, they will always have a safe place to run. That's a guarantee from Hashem. And therefore, it really is not possible, Lamaisa, for us to be persecuted such that the only way we could save ourselves is to violate the shevuos, except for one possibility. There's one possibility that could happen that would not contradict either the Maral or the Ramban. What's that? There is a way for somebody to override Hashem's plan and foil Hashem's promise. Yonason, you're nodding. The Arachaim, exactly. The Arachaim. The Satmar rebbe asks, in view of that Ramban of Vayishlach, how is it possible that the Jews in World War II needed a place to run and people would not let them in? There's a guarantee. Hamachane Hanishor Lefleito. So he says, with the Arachaim HaKodesh, everybody knows the Arachaim, right, Yonason? The Arachaim HaKodesh by Yosef HaTzadik, it says over there that it's from the Zohar, the Arachaim, that when the Shvatim threw Yosef into the pit, they were testing the situation to see the Ratzon Hashem, whether Hashem wants Yosef alive or Hashem wants Yosef dead. It was like a witch trial, Azah. They wanted to see if Hashem would let him be killed or not. So the Arachaim HaKodesh asks, if that's true, why do they have to throw him into a pit? Why couldn't they just kill him themselves? So he says the teretz is that snakes and scorpions, which were in the pit, don't do anything unless Hashem commands them to do so. However, human beings could do something even if Hashem commands them not to, and therefore, if they themselves would try to kill Yosef biyadayim, and Yosef would be killed at their hands, it doesn't prove that Hashem wanted Yosef to be killed then. Hashem allows human beings bechira to override Hashem's plan. However, Ze'irin inun denitzli mibale bechira is what the Zohar says. Ze'irin inun denitzli mibale bechira. If you are subject to the actions of a Baal Bechira, you're in very big trouble. However, snakes and scorpions aren't Balei Bechira. They only listen to Hashem. And therefore, he says that the reason why the Jews didn't find a place to run during World War II is because of all the Zionist efforts to sabotage rescue routes, escape routes, unless the escape routes led to Palestine. We know, right? We know about perfidy, and the perfidy is only a small part of the what they did. We know about the Evian conference. We know about various other ways that they actually be Adayan sabotaged, and certainly never failed to an opportunity to fail to miss an opportunity. No, that's not how it goes. They never failed to miss an opportunity. That's enough. That's enough. They never failed to miss an opportunity to save the Jews. And therefore, because of the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, we could have had plenty of escape routes during World War II. But the Balei Bechira, the first time in the history of Klal Yisrael that I know of, the Balei Bechira, Jews actually willingly, deliberately sabotaged escape routes for other Jews. So that's what happened.
They destroyed all the stores and stuff.
Two things. One, we're going to save questions for the end, but it's true the Bar Yonim did that, but this still is much different. Here they actually, Hashem didn't give anybody a guarantee there that the Jews are going to win the war. Here the question is overriding Hashem's guarantee. There's no question that Jews can do stupid things. But the question is, Hashem gave havtocha, machne hanishal afleita. They're persecuted, they'll have a place to run. Here you're talking about overriding Hashem's guarantee, where Hashem doesn't give a guarantee, so that's not a big kasha. So therefore, it's really not a possibility of us having no escape route, unless Balei Bechira actually sabotage escape routes, and the only thing left would be to do a Yehorg V'al Yavar Aveira, and that the Maral says it's still Yehorg V'al Yavar, and we would not be allowed to save ourselves by violating the shevuos. And let's go to Perek Chaf Aleph now. Perek Beis Masechta Idius Isa. There's a Ravid that talks about Nevuas Yecheskel. When we learned Yecheskel in Perek Chaf, we had a Nevuah. We learned about a Nevuah that by Kibbutz Golus, Klal Yisrael is not going to go directly from golus into Eretz Yisroel. Just like in the Midbar, Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, but for 40 years we were circling around in the desert until we went into Eretz Yisroel. We were traveling. So too, when this golus ends, we're not going to enter Eretz Yisroel right away, but rather HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take us into the Midbar for 40 years, and there will be the birur. Some people will be zoicha, some people won't be zoicha. That will be the filtering period for the people that will be worthy of the geula. And then at the end of 40 years, we're going to go into Eretz Yisroel. The Ravid over there says that there are two different times to end the geula. There's a zman of years and there's a zman of deiris. The zman of years can end, and that'll be the end of our suffering. But you need still the right door to be zoicha to the actual reward. You can end the suffering, like in Mitzrayim, the suffering ended, we were out, but to get the reward, which in those days was Eretz Yisrael, nowadays it's going to be Eretz Yisrael, the Gula Shlema, that you need the right door. So there's going to be years in the Midbar Ha'amim first. So Kibbutz Golus is not going to be straight into Eretz Yisrael. It's not going to happen. Agrada, the Brisker Rav, had said the same thing. I quoted it in my book, that when they told the Brisker Rav that the Zionists claim that the fact that Eretz Yisrael became populated with so many Jews, that's Kibbutz Golus. So the Brisker Rav had two comments two different times. One time he said three comments. One time he said Kibbutz Golus, they bring Jews here to get killed, and they call that Kibbutz Golus. Another time was it's the most dangerous place for Jews. That's not Kibbutz Golus. Second, he said Kibbutz Golus, Halavai, the Yemenite children should have remained in Chutz La'aretz. And the third time he said Kibbutz Golus, no, the Ravid says there's not going to be Kibbutz Golus straight into Eretz Yisrael, going to be 40 years in the desert, so he mentions that over here as well. So it comes out, then he says in Perek Chav Beis, Ubzehevanti Seder HaBrocha Shebebirkas Shemona Esrei, Shemavu b'Mesechta Megillah, She'acha Birkas Hashiva, She'ashuvu Shoftim Karishayna, Oimrim V'lam Alshinim. The Seder of what's going to unfold, Liyosid Lavoi, is described in the Seder HaBrochas of Shemona Esrei. So first we have Hashiva Shaftenu Karishayna, then we have V'lam Alshinim. There's first going to be the Shoftim are going to be back, then the Malshinim, the Apikorsim are going to be destroyed. Al-Yedei HaShoftim kolu haZeidim, v'yachakach Misroimim keren haTzadikim, then the Tzal haTzadikim, v'shuv nivnis Yushalayim, and then it's going to be the Binyan Yushalayim. Nimtza Binyan Yushalayim yachakach, comes out that the building of Yushalayim is going to be at the end, v'yesh l'dayik. Halei maschilin bebirkas tekah b'shofar shehu kibbutz golus. The first bracha that starts the process is tekah b'shofar gadol, is going to be kibbutz golus. Tekah b'shofar gadol, that's Mashiach, and then he's going to make a kibbutz golus. That's what the bracha is about. V'im lo yeh adayin nivnei Yerushalayim l'heichon yiskabtzu. Where are they going to go? It says there's going to be kibbutz golus, and then there's going to be all these other things, and then Yerushalayim is going to be built. But if Yerushalayim is not built yet, where are they going? Teretz is Ulfi Devei Harayvet Shekibutz Harishan Yel Midbar Nicha. Then it's good because according to the Ravid they're going to go to the Midbar. V'cheinanu Omer betfilasenu v'soneis lekabes guliyasenu. Gam siyam habracha hu bestama makabes nidchem o Yisroel v'lo yomar lahechon. The siyam of the bracha, the ikr, the end of the bracha, the chasima, does not say where we're going. This kibbutz golus, because we're not going, at least when we're talking about that bracha, into Yerushalayim yet. Mashoimim be'emtza ha-bracha, and this that we say in the middle of the bracha, v'kabtzenu li'artzenu, tzorech loim ha-kavon shetachlis ha-kibbutz hu lo v'yachakach li'artzenu. In other words, if you see a bus, and you see on the bus it says 49th Street, it doesn't mean the next stop is 49th Street, it means that's the final destination. Right? So when you see it says in the bracha of Sonis L'Kabes Li'artzenu, it means that ultimately the bus is going to land Li'artzenu, but it doesn't mean that's the first stop. If you want to know what the first stop is, meaning the stop that we're talking about during that time period that the bracha is describing, Kibbutz Harishon L'Yil Yisrael Midbar Hamim. By the way, V'yesh Nuschois B'kama Sidurim Shein Lama Klal Tevis Li'artzenu B'chol HaBracha Shal Tkab B'Shofar. There's Nuschois that say we're not even goyres li'artzenu. B'lkutei ma'arich, he says that Nusach Ashkenaz, they don't say li'artzenu. And v'chein nira midivrei hatur, v'harizal shekosva sheyesh b'bracha zu chof tevois, chein noga b'moirizal, his father didn't say it. Al betchilas habracha v'sim habracha. If you want to know where the bus stops, what the first stop is, while we're saying the bracha, described by the bracha, einoi muska b'shum nusach l'heichon yeh ha-kibbutz. At the beginning of the bracha and the end of the bracha, which is the ikar, there's no nusach in all of Klal Yisroel that says li'artzenu there. Af shebavadeh ha-kibbutz l'midbar ein ha-tachlis, even though the gathering into the desert is not the end's purpose. V'hurak b'shvil is zakrisenu u'litzroi faisanu lihiyois muchshorim lihiskabetz li'artzenu ha'kadoisha. But it only means that we should merit and be filtered to be prepared to go into Eretz Yisroel. Shezeh kol tikvasenu b'kilyoin einoyim. Elo sheb'shvil she'ha'kibbutz harishon lo yihiyeh Eretz Yisroel, El Midbar, since the first stop is not going to be into Eretz Yisroel, but rather to the desert. Ubrochazu Nemral Zman Shekoidim Hachzor Hashoiftim V'Kilyon Haminim Shazlo Yadayin Kibbutz Eretz Yisroel Chen Ein Maskin Mizeh Betchil V'Soif Shuikar HaBrocha. Since the bracha itself is describing the first stop, it's talking about before the Shoiftim and before the Malshin V'la Malshinim Al Tisikva. It mentions at the beginning and the end just that there's going to be a kibbutz golus. Val kol panim zevadai shu kal v'chem ben benoy shel kal v'chem shkoidim hagula in rotzon habayris boshmel hachnes kol Yisrael Eretz Yisrael. He brought this over here in order to show that before Mashiach comes and before the kibbutz golus and before Mashiach actually does it, we learned throughout this section of Eyal Moshe that is not the Ratzon Hashem for Jews, Klal Yisrael, to be in Eretz Yisrael. We don't need any more rayas, we have enough. In Bekitzer, from all that we've learned so far. 1. Sha'Kadosh Baruch Hu Omer Shebechol Meshech Yimei HaGolus Ad Bias HaMashiach. From many places all over Chazal, we see that Hashem says that during the entire Golus until Bias HaMashiach, Yiyu Yisrael Mefuzorn B'chol Arba Kanfos HaOretz. Klal Yisrael will be dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth. V'zeh vadei shetzorech shiyu be'eretz Yisrael oivdei Hashem b'tahar b'makam HaKodesh. Now, if Eretz Yisrael is part of the four corners of the earth, so the Jews will be in Eretz Yisrael as well. And we need Jews to be, good Jews to be sitting in Eretz Yisrael. Well, das HaRambam, and according to the Rambam, not everybody agrees, but the Rambam says, Hu hechruch b'shvil kiddush hachodesh v'hamoyadim, that you need Jews in Eretz Yisrael in order to make Kiddush HaChodesh, so that the Moyadim are going to come out on the right day of the month. You need to be able to make Kiddush HaChodesh, and for that you need Jews in Eretz Yisrael. L'chol hadeyis kima toiva mitzvahs shemachoshu v'yokar yoiser ad ein shir. And everybody agrees that doing mitzvahs in Eretz Yisrael, the mitzvah is amplified over when you do mitzvahs in Chutz La'aretz, kasher yizbor b'maimer hasheni. Like we're going to explain later. And we have to strive b'chol oifen v'oifen, every possible way, lahachzik as toishvei haaretz begashmius u'beruchnius b'chol ma'da efsher, to support the good Jews in Eretz Yisrael, gashmius and ruchnius, any way possible. If you have an opportunity to give the yeshivas money so they don't have to take money from the Israeli government, it'll be a tremendous big mitzvah, for example. Beprat achshav shehechrich lahatzila mizerm haminus rachmana litzlan, especially now. Before there was Zionists in Eretz Yisrael, there was still a mitzvah to support the Jews in Eretz Yisrael. But now it's even a bigger mitzvah to save them from the Zionist influence. There are many, much efforts we need to put forth in order to help the Jews in Eretz Yisrael. I also worked very hard on this. But people should say, that anybody should say that all the Jews all over should go to Eretz Yisrael. Kol elu medabrim b'pem molei neged kol divrei chachmeinu zal b'kama makamis b'shas u'midrashim u'b'kisvei arizal. In golus, we are not supposed to be in Eretz Yisrael. Individuals, yes. Communities, yes. But to say that all the Jews should go to Eretz Yisrael, v'hu be'emes haflei v'fela, it's astounding. Heich yarhivu oiz b'nafsham af k'tzas shoymrei Torah mitzvahs. L'daber dovar neged dvarim hamavuorim kol kach b'feirish b'harbe makamis b'divrei it's mamish all over Kol HaTorah that the Jews are not supposed to be collectively. Certainly they're not supposed to be totally in Eretz Yisrael before Mashiach comes. And even after Mashiach comes, first he's going to bring them Lemidbar Ha'amim, the Ravid says. But never mind that. Before Mashiach comes, certainly we're not supposed to be in Eretz Yisrael as a nation. Besides, it's the Ratzon Hashem not. And besides, we learned that it's dangerous for the Jews to be there because the Havtocha that Hashem protects us in golus is only when we are taka in golus, and various other reasons why we have to be here. Not to mention, besides all of that, it's against the shevuos shelayalu b'choimo, and the punishment is that Jews get killed like flies, holocausts. And people don't realize that the Apikorsim invented this thing that all Jews should go to Eretz Yisrael. Whoever heard of such a crazy thing? All Jews should go to Eretz Yisrael and golus. Litvais berishtam es kol klal Yisrael veinam aminim b'gzeirosai shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu u'b'hashgachoso Yizbarach. People don't realize that the Zionists invented this nonsense, that all Jews should go to Eretz Yisrael. U'kedei lahatois es habriois nosnu lezeh shem chibos haaretz shaloi kedas. In order to fool people, they said, oh, this is loving Eretz Yisrael. Vashem Yerachem. Rebbeinu Shalom Shev Rachmonos. So, v'hinei nizbaru, we have explained shtei shevuos, two of the shalosh shevuos, two of the three. One, the hashvu shlo yimrdu b'umois koyal kol merida bein be'eretz Yisrael bein b'chutz la'aretz. The shvuah that says the Jews are not allowed to rebel against the nations means they're not allowed to be revolutionaries anywhere in the world, even outside of Eretz Yisrael. V'hashvu shlo yalu b'choimo koy al aliyah meruba yachad Afim Huber Shus or Afilu Alidei Kfiyah. And Aliyah B'Choima means that the Jews are not allowed to go up collectively to Eretz Yisrael, even if the occupants, the indigenous population of Eretz Yisrael welcomes them, or even if the Jews are forced to go, they're still not allowed to go collectively. Now, we did not have a conclusion yet, it will be later on, as to how to quantify the Aliyah B'Choima, how many Jews would have to go up to Eretz Yisrael to violate Aliyah B'Choima. He will speak about that more in detail later on. But B'Kitzur, we have that the golus, there's a Beis Halevi really that helps us out a lot over here. The Beis Halevi, Vayetze, says that there's two parts to the golus. Golus means two things. Golus means dispersion. Jews have to be all over, and subjugation. The Jews have to be under the shilton of the goyim. So one shevuos says we're not allowed to rebel against the shilton of the goyim, even if we are dispersed. Say in America, the Jews want to take over America. That's aveira merida b'umois. And even if they're not rebellious, they still have to be dispersed. They're not allowed to collectively go back to Eretz Yisroel. I said that this is the pshat in the Haggadah. We say by halach manya at the end, Hashata hochol l'shana haba b'yad Yisrael, Hashata avdei l'shana haba b'nei chayrin. And everybody asks why I need the two l'shonos. So according to the Beis Halevi, it's good. The Beis Halevi says, Vayetze, the famous Beis Halevi, Vayetze and Vayelech, that there are two, golus is a double thing, that really Hashem, it's a punishment for the Jewish people. But Hashem could have punished the Jews and left them in Eretz Yisrael. But the Jews, because they deserve punishment and they're not on the level of having the Beis HaMikdash, that's why Beis HaMikdash is destroyed, they're also not on the level to be in Eretz Yisrael. So part of the golus is that they have to be dispersed and they have to be also subjugated by the goyim. So there's a vayetze and a vayelech. That the vayelech to go into the goyish territory, and vayetze they have to leave Eretz Yisrael, like by Yaakov Avinu was a vayetze and a vayelech. So hashata hochel l'shana haba b'yard Yisrael. That's the first part of golus. The dispersion is undone. That's the vayetze was undone. There should be no more vayetze. V'hashata avdi l'shana haba b'nei chayrin. The subjugation to the goyim is also, those two parts of the golus is going to be undone. Now, these two shevuos, what we have so far, the third shevuah we're going to start Perek Chav Dalet. He's going to explain the third shevuah, which is the most mysterious, the hardest to explain and the least understood, because it just says shlo yidchaku as haketz. The chikas haketz just means to push the time, but the language is much more ambiguous than shlo yalu b'choyma and shlo yimrudu b'umois. So now, before we go further, we should know that he doesn't bring it here because he's only talking about the Roshei Prokim. And by the way, so far in Vayol Moshe, there is nothing that isn't Poshet basic Judaism. What the Satmar Rebbe wrote his Sefer for, well, he wrote it for two things. One, to explain the Shalosh Shevuos, but not only to explain the Shalosh Shevuos, to explain his Shita about the Shalosh Shevuos and the ramifications. What we call the Satmar Rebbe's Shita. That doesn't start until, I think, Perek Pei Zayin. Until Perek Pei Zayin, it's basically basic Judaism. There is nothing that we have learned so far or that we're going to learn like until Perek Pei Zayin. I may be off by one or two, but I think it's Pei Zayin. That is not Poshet basic Judaism, that it would be anomalous if somebody would disagree with any of it. It would be an outlier. These are things that, like Klal Yisrael in general, everybody agrees to. And that's why these two shevuos, just to give you an idea of their applications. First, everybody knows that the Ramban, the Rabbeinu Bachaya, and others, Rishonim and Achronim, learn out from these Shalosh Shevuos, Parshas Vayishlach, that Jews are not allowed to wage war in golus. When Yaakov met Esav and Yaakov bowed to Esav, everybody knows that when our Chachomim went to negotiate for the Jews by the Goyim, they learned the Parsha of Yaakov and Esav in Parshas Vayishlach. And there, it says that Yaakov prepared for three things. He prepared for tefillah, obviously, he prepared for Dairin to give Esav presents, and he prepared for war. The Ramban and the Rabbeinu Bachaya both say that prepare for war over there does not mean prepare to fight. What it means is prepare to run away. And the reason is, in order to teach us in Golus that we're not allowed to fight with the Goyim. The Chafetz Chaim in Parshas Devarim explains, even when the Goyim start up with us, even when they antagonize us, the Jews are not allowed to fight against the Goyim in Golus. We have to run away from them, or give them presents, or beg and plead. And it's only in our interest. The mashal that I give, if you were in shul for many decades, you've heard this, or if you've read my book, you've seen this, If you meet a angry grizzly bear in the woods, everybody knows he's supposed to play dead. Now, if I tell you to play dead, everybody knows that. You're going to tell me, well, what do you want? The bear's going to eat you? You're going to want the bear to eat you? You're going to let him eat you? Well, you fight back. So what would I tell you? What would you tell anybody else? You say, what do you don't fight back against bears. Your best chance is to play dead, and maybe he'll leave you alone. No guarantees, but hopefully he'll leave you alone. If you start fighting with him, then you're in big trouble. Your best chance is to just leave him alone. And a shark, by the way, is not that way. According to my worst case scenario calendar that I had many years ago, it says that it's like every month or every day they give you like another worst case scenario, what to do in case of an emergency. In one week, I think it was a weekly if I remember right, it said what to do if you're swimming in the water and a shark comes. So you're supposed to punch him. There it says in the gills. But common wisdom says in the nose, whatever. Keep repeatedly punching him with whatever weapon you may have, a camera or a knife or something. And but a bear is different than a shark. So Klal Yisrael, in a hostile encounter with the Goyim during golus, is like a bear, not like a shark. Our best bet, our only chance for survival is to play dead, to run away. Very simple. That we learn out from the shevuos, and the Ramban and the Rabbeinu Chai both bring the shevuos, but not just there. There are many, many places where the shevuos are nageya lahalacha lamaisa. Besides what we just said, please open up Yevayel Moshes to the second Maimer Yishav Eretz Yisroel, Ois Gimel. How does the mitzvah of Yeshivas Eretz Yisroel, of living in Eretz Yisroel, jive? How does it square with the Shvuv Shalayalu B'Choimo? We know there's 3 shitas. Really, there's 4, but for now we'll mention 3. There's Rashi shita that there was never any mitzvah minat Torah to live in Eretz Yisroel. There's no such thing. It's only a havtacha. We know the Ramban that holds it's a mitzvah l'doyrus always to live in Eretz Yisroel. We know the Ritva says it's a mitzvah only in the days of the Beis HaMikdash, not in the days of golus. The Rambam is murky. But we'll go right now with those 3 sheets. Since all the Jews together are not allowed to go up to Eretz Yisroel because it's Aliyah B'Choyma, Shuvein Chiyav Gamal HaYochid. He wants to be Mechadish, that therefore it's impossible that there should be a mitzvah to go to Eretz Yisroel even as an individual. If everybody's chayv to go to Eretz Yisroel, we'll tell everybody you're chayv to go to Eretz Yisroel. Zrizin Makdimin L'Mitzvah, Nimtza Shoylin HaKol B'Yachar V'Yoinish Chas V'Sholem. And what's going to happen is all the Jews are going to go up. So how in the world could you obligate individuals but not the entire community? Okay, now go to the next paragraph. And he says, by the way, the Avnei Nezer says, the last line of the previous paragraph that I just told you to skip the rest of. The Avnei Nezer is trying to figure out why throughout history, in the days of from Chazal all the way down on Hayam Hazeh, if there's a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael, why are so many Gedolim not living in Eretz Yisrael? Very simple. I once asked this, by the way, to Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky. I once asked him, is there a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael today? He says yes. So I say, so what are you doing here? I said in a more respectful way. That's what I asked him. We were actually in Toronto when this conversation took place, but he lived in Muncie then. So he said to me, what's going to be with the Yidden? I said, they need, I have my people here. So I say, okay, I don't have my people here, so shall I go? So he says, the chinuch in America is much better than Eretz Yisrael. That's what he said. Especially for girls, that's what he told me. I was a young boy then, I think I was 17, 18 years old. And I wasn't wise enough to ask him what exactly he meant by that, or to take advantage of the fact that by the chasna everybody was dancing and only Rav Yaakov was sitting there, and I went over to sit down next to him and I had him the whole time. And I ran out of things to speak to him about, so I foolishly just got up and went back to the dancing. Missed opportunity. But this is what he said. In any case, it's a big question, and the Mefarshim talk about it. Why the Gedolim lived in Chutz La'aretz. So there are many that want to bring a raya from there. This Avnei Nezer wants to bring one of the raya that can't be a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael, otherwise the Gedolim would have been there. Simple as that. If there would be a mitzvah, would they go? Even if there's no chiyuv, would they go if there's a mitzvah? Okay. V'hinei, mashloi olu ha'gedolim li'eretz Yisrael zevadei tzorech tam. I'll speak about it later. Aval chilek zel achalek ben yochid ha'oile li'aliyah b'choyma v'mavur b'poiskim, but the distinction between the whole Klal Yisrael going up to Eretz Yisrael versus the obligation for an individual is all over the Poiskim. Ayin Shuvas Harashbash, Siman Beis, Shekosav Ezel Shoinei. Bahadir Be'eretz Yisrael, Ovi's Keni, Adoni's Keni Haramban, Zal Shuhoya Megeza Haramban. This is a anicle of the Ramban, the Rashbash. He was a Rishon. Mono Oisom Eklal Mitzvah Sasek, Moshenema Ve'irashtem Oisav Yeshavtem Bo. He holds that there's a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael and even to conquer Eretz Yisrael, the Ramban said. V'chein hi das avi adoni harajbet b'sefer zayhar rakia. Omno mitzvah zu eino mitzvah kolel sachol Yisrael begolus achal hazeh. According to the Ramban, according to the Rashbash, according to the Tashbitz, he says, this mitzvah is not a mitzvah of Klal Yisrael together. There's no mitzvah anymore to conquer Eretz Yisrael and take it over, even according to the Ramban. Aval hi nimnes klal, כמו שאמר חז"ל בגמור כסובס, שהוא מכלל שבוס שהשביע הקדוש ברוך הוא Yisrael, שלא ימרו את הקץ שלא יעלו בחומה. Conquering Eretz Yisrael would be a violation of the shevuos. And therefore, even the Ramban would hold Bisman Hazeh that there's no mitzvah to conquer Eretz Yisrael. Ad kan l'shonai. V'harish shekasa b'feirish chilek zeh she'achar shehevi das akenu haramban she'yeshiva Eretz Yisrael mitzvah deiraisa sayim she'ein zeh elo l'chol yochid haroitz alalois. The Bisman Hazeh, it's only for individuals that want to go there. Aval klal Yisrael asur and machmas hashvua. It's also because of the shvua. Also v'chein kosav harivosh b'tshuva siman kuf aleph shehevi sham be'emtza hatshuva dalil Eretz Yisrael havi mitzvah. The rivosh in his tshuva says going to live in Eretz Yisrael is a mitzvah. Gam hevi divrei hashas she'ador b'chutz la'aretz doimik mi shein lo eloika. He brings this memory of the Gemara that we had mentioned previously, the Marami Rottenberg, that says it's talking only in the days of the Beis Hamikdash. The Rivosh brings it down even Bisman Hazeh. V'teikef achazeh kosav ezel l'shoina, but the Rivosh says, quote, U'mashahoya oimer ha'novi l'bnei golus b'nubatim. This is what the Navi said, go build houses in Chutz La'aretz. Zehoyim ebnei ha'golus shenigzar aleihem. U'mishehiglom lo'yhoya menicham loshuv ad she'alu b'rshus kodesh. That this is because Klal Yisrael as a whole is supposed to be in golus, and Hashem, who exiled them, didn't want to bring them back until they came back at Kairish's invitation. V'gam ata, and even today, achas mishol shvuos shezbiya kadosh baruch hu Yisrael shlo yalu b'choima. Bisman hazeh also, there is no not only there's no mitzvah, there's a prohibition bisman hazeh to leave the golus and to go up together b'choim. V'hari da'af shekasav she mitzvah la'alois l'Eretz Yisrael. Even though the Rivosh holds it's a mitzvah to go up to Eretz Yisrael, mikol mokam sayim teikif b'shvil gzeres ha'golus mishehiglo mein menichem loshe v'chein atum ushboyim al zeh. Says even bisman hazeh, still the shvua applies. V'al kein tzorach loymar dema shekasav b'tchila she mitzvah la'alois en kavanosoi elo b'yechidim dafka v'oifen sheino neged ha'gzeir v'hashvua. So then he says, right, and therefore tzorch l'chalik b'das Ramban. So we have over here the Rivosh, the Rashbash, that make a distinction between the mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael for a Yochid, which it's possible to hold exists Bisman Hazeh, but that all of Klal Yisrael should go take over Eretz Yisrael, should all go to Eretz Yisrael, that's also because of the Shvuah. That's what they say. Now, the Megillas Esther, the Perish Megillas Esther, on the side of Sefer Mitzvahs of the Rambam, says that the reason why the Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvahs left out the mitzvah of Yeshivas Eretz Yisrael is because the Sholosh Shvuos aser even, the Sholosh Shvuos negates even the mitzvah of the individual to live in Eretz Yisrael. That because the Sholosh Shvuos, there would be no mitzvah even on an individual. Now, the Avnei Nezer and the V'yol Moshe later on, they'll be cholik on that because they're going to hold that it's no raya it's no raya from the shel shevuos to an individual. Plus, the Rambam should have brought it anyway, because the Rambam brings stuff that's not negay bisman hazeh no matter what. Even if it once was a mitzvah, the Rambam should have brought it. But the point is that the shevuos of shlo yalu b'choimo and D'chikas HaKetz have ramifications. They affect the requirement, they affect the mitzvah of conquering Eretz Yisroel, and they limit the mitzvah of to live in Eretz Yisroel only to Yechidim. No longer is it a mitzvah for the community to do it. Go now to the V'yol Moshe, the second mimer, Ois Kuf Mem. The Aguda, now like they have yearly convention. They used to have, I think it was once every 10 years, I'm not sure, what they call Knessia Gedola in Eretz Yisroel. Big super convention. I remember 1980, I think, was one. Rashiva Reb Shnei, he had to leave. Had to go to Eretz Yisroel to go Knessia Gedola. If I remember right, it was 1980. Maybe off just a bit. During the fourth Knessia Gedola of the Aguda that was held in Eretz Yisroel, Shom Ksoiv Lemor, in the announcements of the Knessia Gedola, was written, and it was printed in all the newspapers. Asher Knessia Gedola poinel haYehudim chol tfutzos Yisroel lalois l'Eretz HaKodesh u'lis yashev bo. The Aguda announces they call upon all the Jews all over to come live in Eretz Yisrael permanently. Kikanhu palten shel melech. It's the palace of the king. V'tomani, and I don't get it. Eich polta kul mosam diburim keilu. How do their pens scribble these things? Demilvad shekvan is borsha diburim heilu ba'atzma shehudim chol tfutz Yisrael yashvu beit Yisrael hem divrei minus ve'apikorsus. It's mamish minus and apikos shu neged gzeres hagolus me'akadish baruch ad zman hagula. Hashem made a gzer that Klal Yisrael is supposed to be in golus, and it's for their good. And this business of going to Eretz Yisrael before golus is mamish apikorsis. We didn't get to that part yet. He's going to say later that not only is it a violation of the shevuos, but it's mamish a violation of emunah in the Torah. But this is what the world needs, the golus, like we said from the Arizal, and it saves Klal Yisrael from destruction. It also saves it from Gehenim. There's Chazal say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Klal Yisrael a choice, either golus or Gehenim. So because we chose golus, we avoid Gehenim. So the golus, in short, for any number of reasons, is not only beneficial, it's necessary, it's vital for the safety and the well-being of the Jewish people. Besides, it's apikorsus. And only Hashem is going to take us back to Eretz Yisrael. Turn the page now. Go to Dibur HaMaschil v'yodeya ani. V'yodeya ani shehoya b'toich oisa ha'knesiyah gam rabbonim talmidei chachamim v'yirei Hashem shekoyev lehem inyan zeh. I know for a fact that at that Knessia Gedola there were rabbonim talmidei chachamim and God-fearing people that were upset at this, what they wrote. V'gam yeshmar rabbonim shoyu shomer v'omer mal zeh shehu minus, and there were rabbonim who were there in the Aguda that said it's apikorsis. But the Rabbanim can't do anything. The Askonim do whatever they want. And then he brings this letter of Reb Chaim Oizer previously. We didn't get to it yet, but there's a second time in the Sefer that he brings it, where they wanted to make some kind of Aguda type organization in Europe, and Reb Chaim Oizer was against it. He said the reason is I learned from bitter experience in our Medina that's full of amongst others, choshev, God-fearing rabbis, shekol hapulos ba'agudus rabbonim nasau de'ez mazkir poku v'enim eschashvim klalim roshei hamoyetzes. Everything that the organization does is done by some officer, some asken. They don't care what the rabbonim say. V'kam upon moisem gam menigud l'daitim v'ashposum v'yitzim rak mashlibam chofetz ayin shamat misnagid al dezel yased moiser ilomi. He was against making a worldwide organization. Val derech zeh hemon yoni ha'aguda. That's the way the aguda works. Ve'ni ritzoni lefarit al haniyah prote taluchos ha'inyonim. I don't want to go into detail now. One of the rabbonim who he spoke to was Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky. Yaakov Kamenetsky once came to the satmar rebbe for a visit, and satmar rebbe said, by the way, I want to ask you, this hachroza that you guys made, maybe you can tell me what the mocker for it is, that all Jews should go to Eretz Yisroel. So Rav Yaakov told him that some asken wrote it, I didn't agree to it, and I'm not responsible for it. So the satmar rebbe told him a dvar Torah. Says by Egla Arufa. So there's a disclaimer that the Sanhedrin makes. We didn't kill this person, and we didn't see him getting killed. So Rashi brings, Chazal ask, what's the Havamina that people would think that the Sanhedrin killed him? So Teretz is not that they killed him, but that perhaps they didn't walk him Dalet Amos out of the town. The question is that it doesn't ask, what about Einenu Lo Ro? We could ask the same question. Is there a Havamina that the Sanhedrin saw somebody getting killed and they didn't do anything? We don't have an answer for that. So he says the teretz is because Einenu Lo Ro is not a disclaimer. It's not a statement of innocence. It's a confession. Einenu Lo Ro means that they should have seen. If somebody in their town or within their territory or closer to their town was killed, Einenu Lo Ro, it's a chesaron in us. In other words, the Rabbanim are responsible to know what their organizations are doing. So it's not an excuse that the Knesset Gedolah wrote this and you don't know anything about it. But that's what it says. That's what happened over there. Saying everybody should go to Eretz Yisroel is mamish against the Torah. You'll see Jews who do it, but there are no stodim over here. It's Jews are supposed to be in golus until Mashiach comes, including in Eretz Yisroel. Now, besides this, the Yisur of Merida B'umois. Are Jews allowed to be revolutionaries? Let's say Jews want to take over America. We're going to go make an army and we're going to take over the United States of America. So it'll be an Yisur of Merida B'umois. That's the shevuos. The Chuvas, Marshdam brings it, that this is the mocker that Jews are not allowed to be revolutionaries because of the Shalosh Shevuos. And if you look in the Aruch HaShulchan, simple halacha sefer, and Choshen Mishpat Siman Beis, Sif Aleph, he's talking there about what Bezdin has the authority to do. So even though we don't do Malkus and Misa Bizman Hazeh, however, Bezdin could still, if they see that there's a need, they could make kenosis and punishments at their will. So he says, if we can make a siyog for the Torah by making enforcing Torah law, so we're mechuyev to do it, and somebody who doesn't do it, ein lo siyog b'olam haza v'olam haba, v'chein mechuyovim lahashgiach. And one other thing that we're obligated to enforce, shlo yimtza chalila ben Yisroel eiz machshavas mered, af belev neged adonenu ha-kaiser. We're not allowed to make any revolutions against the government. Ukvar omru chazal sha'kadosh baruch hu hishbias Yisrael shelo yimredu b'malchiyos. Because look in the Gemara in Ksubis where it says Klal Yisrael made the Jews swear that they wouldn't rebel against the nations. So the mocker for not making revolutions is the Shalosh Shevuos. Aruch HaShulchan brings it down, other people bring it down as well. The Rav Henkin says that the Zionists violated this shvuah of Merida B'Umois even before 1948, when they rebelled against the British in Palestine to try to oust them and the Arabs. But the British is the ikar because they were the governing power then. Out of Palestine, they tried to take it over, and that was Mamish Merida B'Umois, and he says that's what brought on World War II. Because the punishment for violating the shvuah is animatios basarchem kitzavoisu kailos asad, and that's, as we mentioned earlier, that's a perfect description, Nebuch, of what happened in World War II, because the Zionists violated the shvuos, and it wasn't only the Zionists. He says there were also other crazy revolutionary groups that the Jews were part of in Russia. There were the Bolsheviks and the Bundists, and mamish crazy revolutionary people. They were all nuts. And all of them just caused trouble for the Jews. Now, one more thing I want to cover. Another halacha l'maisa that where the shevuos and nageya. I have in front of me a shtickle Torah, a tshuva that was written a long time ago by the Chacham Ovadia Yosef, which I heard, somebody told me that it was reprinted in the latest volume of Yabi Omer. He has a question about what they call in Israel land for peace. So you're allowed to give up Eretz Yisroel in order to make peace. Now, of course, this is assuming that the Mitzvah is that way, right? The Zionim were saying that, what do you mean? There's a mitzvah to conquer Eretz Yisroel. How could you give up Eretz Yisroel for peace? And the mitzvah to conquer Eretz Yisroel, you can't say that you have to give up that mitzvah for pikuach nefesh, because the Minchas Chinuch says that there's one mitzvah, besides the ones that we know of, there's one mitzvah that's certainly not nidche by pikuach nefesh. Milchemes mitzvah. If there's a mitzvah to make a war, you can't say pikuach nefesh negates that mitzvah, because obviously that's the mitzvah that you have to go to war. So if you have to go to war to conquer Eretz Yisroel, and it's a Melchemes mitzvah, at least according to the Ramban, so how are you allowed to give back land for peace? So says Chacham Ovadia that it's not true. So first he says that he quotes Hagoyin Reb Yitzchok Di Leon b'Sefer Megillas Esther that explains why the Rambam left out the mitzvah of Kibush Eretz Yisroel because of the Shalosh Shevuos. And then he quotes the Rashbash that we had just read, that there's no mitzvah, even according to the Ramban, of conquering Eretz Yisroel Bizman Hazeh. Then he quotes the Tshuvas Rivosh that we just said, that he brings the Shevuos and he says that it's there's no mitzvah for Klal Yisrael to take over Eretz Yisroel. And then he mentions also that the Knesset HaGdolah also says the same thing. Quote, let's say a guy makes a shvuah, Hanishba Shloi Lodo Be'Eretz Yisrael. He makes a shvuah, he's not going to live in Eretz Yisrael. Is that shvuah chal? That's the question in Knesset HaGdolah. Nirali shashvuah chal olav. The shvuah is in effect. Ve'ein zeh b'chlal hanishba levatel mitzvah shel Torah shein shvuah soichola kevan shein mitzvahs yishav Eretz Yisrael mefureshes b'Torah ve'ein ola mitzvah d'Rabbanon. The Knesset HaGdolah says that it's not considered making a shvuah to be mevatel a mitzvah, because you look in the Torah, it doesn't say it's a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael, it's only mitzvah d'Rabbanon. V'chein matzasi in another tshuva in Ksav Yad, v'chein matzasi l'goyin Reb David ben Nechemias in tshuvas b'tevas David, b'tshuvas ksivas David, v'hiskim d'olei havi ala mitzvah d'Rabbanon, v'heichiach kein mimash loimon harambam b'minyan ha-mitzvahs. L'fikach kol sofik she'yistabku b'zeh azlinan bo l'kula. Then he brings other shitas, not that way, and then he says, "V'hinei haramban atzmai b'parshas masei al posik v'rashmoy se v'yishavtem bo achar shekosav she mitzvah sei min ha'Torah sayim." Then he says the Ramban himself says that Rashi is moided that there's no mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael bisman hazeh, and the Arachaim HaKadosh says that Pshuto Shel Mikra is like Rashi, not like the Ramban, and therefore it's not shver if the Knesset HaGdolah is going to hold like Rashi and not like the Ramban, and that the Rambam would hold like Rashi too. V'al kol pon kvar harvanu divrei harashbash, shaf zekenu haramban moide begolus achal hazeh, sheinu histaken lichboishes haaretz. In any case, we brought already the Rashbash that says, even according to the Ramban, there's no mitzvah bisman hazeh to conquer Eretz Yisrael. V'adrabah, yesh isur bedover shlo yalu b'choyma. It's also to conquer Eretz Yisrael because of the Yisrael b'choyma. V'chein kosa b'tshuvas chavolim b'ne'imim. Also says, shegam l'das Ramban, hari hishbia kadosh baruch Eretz Yisrael shlo yisaknu es nafsham lalos b'choyma. Bisman hazeh, there's no mitzvah to conquer Eretz Yisrael. Mishum dahavamina. Now, why did Hashem make a shvuah? So says the tshuvas chavolim b'ne'imim. Why did Hashem make the shvuah? Hava amina, kevan shemitzvos yishuv Eretz Yisrael mitzvah gedoli v'shkula k'chol mitzvahs. Since there is a mitzvah on a yochid, and it's a big mitzvah, yavoyu limso nafshoy aleho, so they're going to be moise nefesh for it. Kamashmul on elidei hashvuah hanal sheyizor shlo yisaknu nafsham. There's no mitzvah to go into a sakana for Eretz Yisrael bisman hazeh. Certainly, there's no mitzvah to conquer it. And even a yochid, the mitzvah is nidcha because of pikuach nefesh. V'chein kos v'goyin reb tzodek melublin b'sefer divrei soifrim shenir loy ikar kedas ha-megillas Esther she'ein kiyoy mitzvah aseh b'yishuv Eretz Yisrael. You understand? He's going between Yishuv and the kibush. El arak bisman beis hamikdash. V'chein ha-goyin reb Yosef Dov Halevi Soloveitchik b'tshuvas beis Halevi maskim hoylech l'divrei ha-megillas Esther. I grada didn't see in the Beis Halevi that he himself was dafka maskim to the Megillas Esther. He does use the Megillas Esther in his shtickle Torah, but this is what he's saying, that the Beis Halevi was maskim to the Megillas Esther. Vayinoid b'tshuvas avnei nezer, b'tshuvas b'nei Yissoschar. V'lfizeh, loimdim, shegam laharamban ein shum mitzvah bizmanenu latzeisum l'chomo, v'hikonis basakonis l'nefoshes k'tei l'hogein, al-achzokas hashtochim hakvushim al yadeinu benigud l'das umois ha'olam. You can't fight with people because of this land. There's no mitzvah, nothing, because of the sholosh shevuos. Rav Shach says the same thing. Says that. He's talking about also the being stubborn about the shtochim. He says there's a shvuah. The shvuah shlo yimrdu b'umois, not to fight with the nations. It wasn't for the sake of the nations, it was for our sake, he says. And Mamela, it's not in our benefit to violate this. So, the shalosh shvuos are very nagei l'maisa in many, many ways. It affects the mitzvah of Yishuv, Yeshivas Eretz Yisrael. It affects the mitzvah of Kibush, Eretz Yisrael, Bisman Hazeh. But more than anything else, it affects, so far we learned two things. Shloyalu b'choyma, that we're not even talking about conquering it. Conquering it certainly would be an issur. And if you noticed, when we quoted the Rashbash and the Rivosh, they stuck in also the shvu of T'chikas HaKetz. We didn't get to the shvu of T'chikas HaKetz yet. We're going to start it next week. But just Aliyah B'choyma doesn't say anything about taking over the country. All it answers is collective, en masse immigration. How much? So we don't know yet. This is for sure. The minimum that could be osur is Roiv Klal Yisrael. That's for sure. More than that, it's not possible. But less than that could be Kenufya Gedoyla, we're going to see later on.